What's going on, y'all? It's your favorite businessman, CEO Rico, on CEO Rico TV. Today, I have a very interesting video that we're going to be going over. Actually, it's not a video, it's actually current news, so my bad. So, I'm not sure if y'all have been paying attention or not, but there has been some crazy things going on in California, and we have to talk about it. So, the illegal aliens, I'm not going to call them illegal migrants. I'm going to call them illegal aliens. They are over in California causing a ruckus. I was going to say causing hell, but let's just go with ruckus. We're going to start it off pretty smooth and then we're going to turn up as we go. Y'all know how your mans get. But like I was saying, we have to have this conversation because they are going crazy over in Cali. So let's get into it, guys. Make sure y'all like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and we gonna get it cracking.
Unfolded. First, we received a tip about ICE outside a Westlake Home Depot. Then another raid at Ambience apparel store in LA's Fashion District. Happening around the same time at Ambience headquarters in downtown. People were put in handcuffs and loaded into white unmarked vans.
And that's where tensions escalated. Protesters confronted federal agents in the streets with tear gas being used to try to control the angry crowd.
And we begin our team coverage live in downtown LA with Eyewitness News reporter Carlos Granda, who was there. Hey, Carlos.
That's right. And this is where there was that big confrontation between protesters and federal agents. And it's all because of that major crackdown that was going on across several locations in Southern California this morning. Now, we are on Stanford Avenue in downtown Los Angeles. And well, it all happened right in that white building that you see there on the left. This is where it got tense as agents moved in. Now, the raids this morning were here in this wholesale clothing business called Ambience. Federal agents were inside, and that's when a crowd formed outside, people surrounding the building. And after several hours, that's when more agents came in with armored vehicles and vans, and they moved in to disperse the crowd. As you said, there was pepper spray, confrontations, people screaming at the agents, and agents then moving in to keep a path open to move in several vans into the parking lot of the building. That's when agents took out those employees from inside, put them in that van, and tried to get them out of here. Now, that's what was going on the way out. People were following the agents. They were trying to stop them. They were yelling at them, throwing things at them. That's when we saw the agents throw out several loud flashbangs to move the crowd. Again, this is just one of several places targeted this morning. As you said, outside of Home Depot in the Westlake area, Homeland Security in the parking lot, and according to people there, about a dozen or so were arrested.
We ran because one of the persons say ICE in Spanish. So that's how basically the one that scattered, but the elderly people that were not able to run, those were the ones that got caught.
I guess some you have to get. Real quick, listen to what she said. She said they said ICE in Spanish and then they scattered. What do y'all think when y'all hear that? I instantly think like roaches. And I'm not saying that they're roaches, so don't get all offended. But that's immediately what I think of. Like when you turn the lights on and like if it's roaches all in the room and bam. Now, for anybody who grew up in, the hood or have been in poverty or know somebody in poverty, they all can tell you that everybody kind of experienced that at one point in life. Now, if you were fortunate enough to never grow up in poverty, then you wouldn't know nothing about it. So you wouldn't understand where I was coming from with that reference. However, that's instantly what I thought. But see, the crazy thing behind it all is all of them are illegal. Now, one thing that I've been paying attention to when I've been watching, the news, when I've been seeing different people, TikToks and different people's narratives, it's interesting. But the thing that's really interesting to me is the people that are, how can I say it, the ones that are on the side of the illegal aliens. Now, besides the fact of, depending on which political party you with, we're not going to really go into that. I'm just going to simply look at it from a high level view. One, the previous administration let all of these illegal immigrants come in. That was the issue. Reason why it was an issue is because some people raise, they have a talking point where they say illegal immigrants, they pay however so many dollars in federal taxes and all this bullshit. I really don't understand where they even came up with that because if they're an illegal immigrant, how can they legally get a job? Because we know California, like Texas, stuff like that. A lot of the illegal aliens, they work under the table, and they also get a lower wage because of their situation, right? So a lot of people get upset at the fact that they're getting deported and things like that. But if you really want to think about it, them being over here, yes, it's an opportunity for them, but there's also opportunity for businesses to exploit them. Why? Because the average American, let's say California, for instance, I think the minimum wage in California is like $15 an hour, right? And we all know California is expensive as fuck. Okay. I honestly don't even understand why people actually want to live in California. Besides the sunny weather, and I actually talked to a number of different people who live in California, and I asked them, like, what really is there? Like, why do people live in California? They always say, well, the weather, it doesn't rain, blah, blah, blah. But I'm just sitting there thinking, like, man, fuck all that. Like, I was living in California for overpopulation, super expensive. I really don't see a benefit besides the weather, granted. But the businesses don't have to pay the illegal immigrants basically the $15 an hour. They don't have to pay for, what is it? Medical expenses. They don't have to pay payroll tax. They don't have to do any of that. They can pay them under the table, and they can pay them way lower rate wage. So that, in essence, is kind of like almost somewhat of a form of slavery, but not really, but it is, because it's like, I ain't got to pay you top dollar. I can pay you way less, and you're going to work harder and more. But nevertheless, all of the individuals that are in support of, what's going on with them, I really don't understand, because it's like how I would like to look at it is, they're coming over into your house, taking up your resources, taking up your space. And then you, in return, when it's time for them to get deported, because remember, Trump did not just come out and just say, bam, just deport all these motherfuckers and that's it. It was kind of like in phases. Like, he announced certain things. Remember when he appointed Tom Homan, they call him the border czar, if I'm not mistaken. He announced that he was appointing him. Like, all of these things, if you paid attention to the news, it was all getting announced, and they had basically time to prepare. Then you had individuals, governors, mayors, whatever. They were aiding them. Now, if you've been paying attention to the whole political landscape, they call them sanctuary cities. Now, if you are a person from my community in those sanctuary cities, I've been seeing a number of these said individuals that's a part of my community pissed, because when those migrants were coming over here and being housed, food stamps, all the government assistance, the money been put up on hotels, all of that, right? What y'all not understanding is the people are the ones that are suffering from this. It's not it's not just the migrants. It's the people that's suffering, it's the taxpayers that's suffering. Because here's one thing that we do know. Well, I don't know if all y'all know, but I know. Where do y'all think this money is coming from? Now, for every individual who goes to work, and let's say hypothetically, you're not making enough. You barely making it, right? Could be because I know that y'all can feel where I'm coming from with this. You barely making it, but you say, no, they shouldn't be deported. They should be here. They should be with their families and all this bullshit. While I understand where you're coming from, you do know that by you barely being able to pay for your expenses, you do know that they're getting housing, they're getting government benefits, and the taxes that you pay that they take out of your check before you get it on your payday, and you barely surviving. They just transferring and giving all that money to them, right? Free of charge, right? They really ain't got to do shit about it. So while you're advocating for them to stay here, you're also paying for them as well, right? And then not only that, remember where they're coming from, they're coming here for opportunity. So when you don't want to do a certain job, they'll gladly take it, and they will outwork your ass. Why? Because that's what they already used to anyway. If they already working for pennies on the dollar and they busting their ass, when they come here, guess what? They getting a huge pay raise, and they gonna outwork you. So guess what? Not only are you paying for your replacement, But all the bitching and stuff that you doing, guess what? They not gonna come in and bitch and they gonna outwork you, and then guess who's gonna get replaced? You. So you rioting and advocating and all like that, bro, they gonna replace you. Unskilled labor. You. So I don't understand why a lot of individuals are really like that are Americans, why they are siding with them. And I'm not trying to make it a them versus us. We just have to look at it from the stance of what is right and what is wrong. The previous administration set it up for them to come in. And it's basically like the the current administration is like, yo, they cannot be here because they're taking resources from the citizens, they're committing certain crimes, whatever. And some people can say, well, not all of them are committing crimes. Listen, don't nobody give a fuck about that. Because when we look at the grand scheme of things, if it's more than one is already too many. Okay. You're not about to sit here and come in my house. That's like somebody coming to your house that you don't want there, and they coming in and they breaking your stuff. It's like, hold on, bruh. One, I don't even want you here. You're not even supposed to be here. That's one. Two, you coming in here and you costing me more money because one, you in my space. Two, you breaking my shit. You understand what I'm saying? Like it's not making sense. Let's get back into it.
Get back, they kept pushing me back, and I assumed it was just those 3 agents. And then when I turn around, I see that there's a lot of them, just people running, screaming everywhere that ICE was here. They started detaining a couple of other people. There was only one agent that was nice enough to let one of the people that got arrested call their family members and let them know.
Now, we saw Homeland Security and FBI agents here. The FBI says that it is supporting our partners at the Department of Homeland Security in their immigration operations all over the country, and they say that was directed by the Attorney General. Reporting live from downtown Los Angeles, I'm Carlos Granda, ABC 7 Eyewitness News.
See, like I say, y'all, that situation is really just really crazy, and things have escalated since then, right? So what has escalated since then is not only did the National Guard get called out there, but not only that, the governor of California, which is really blowing my mind with Governor Newsom, not only does he not support the National Guard being there, but he's going to sue Trump because of it. And for the life of me, I don't understand, because it's like, wait a minute. You are not in favor of the president helping your state and then the city, L.A., get control of what's going on. I mean, they out there burning cars. They're out there. What else? They burning cars. They're looting. They're tearing up shit. And it's like, where does that make sense at? Where does that make sense? Guys, can y'all let me know? Where does that make sense? Think of it like this. If you are, following the laws within your community, you're doing what you're supposed to do. Why would you want anybody to come in and cause chaos within your own backyard? Why? It doesn't make sense. Now, for anybody who, listen, people gonna get upset, and I'm perfectly fine with that, because I don't want everybody to just automatically agree with me, because when you disagree with me, that gives me the ability to have a conversation with you, and then we can go back and forth, have a dialogue, and then we'll see who's really right or not. But in this situation, it's still for like, I just don't understand where people can come from in regards to this, because in no way, shape, or form is this okay. Like, I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't get it. Let's bring this next one up, yo.
Fifth day of protests against President Trump's immigration crackdown. California's Democratic Governor Gavin Newsom today filing an emergency motion seeking to block the president's troop deployment to the city. It now stands at more than 4,000 National Guard members, as well as 700 Marines. The president set to speak just moments.
Hey, listen. The fact that they got the Marines coming, listen, Trump not playing no games. National Guard, members of the National Guard, bam. But then he deploys 700 Marines. Now, listen, you'll have some people saying, I don't know, whatever the hell they saying. But one thing that we still have to sit here and understand is they are illegal aliens, non-U.S. citizens. So what makes you think Trump is not going to deploy in order to get his country, our country, remember, as a country, we elected him to run this motherfucker, right? What makes you think that he's not going to do what he needs to do to get this under control? Because remember, when he came in, he said, "Yo, we got to get this under control. We got to get these illegal immigrants out of here. They got to get out," and he's doing it. But my thing is, why is political officials against what he's doing? That's where I really get confused at. Gavin Newsom, I don't know what my man's like. He does not signify, or is that the right word I want to use? He doesn't showcase good leadership, okay? Remember when California was going through all the wildfires? Where was he at? What contribution did he have to really help the state? Like really? Like was it anything like significant? I don't think so. And then now this issue, and then like think about all the people that do live in California. Now, another thing too. One of the things that this whole situation is setting up, because I look at things as a play. Because like we always say, you have to see the play. Why does it make sense that a governor is allowing these illegal aliens to come over? They are working under the table, so they're taking jobs from American citizens. Whether the American citizens want the damn job or not does not matter. They're taking that away. They're taking away resources. They're taking away housing. They're taking away all these different things, right? Now, since the whole situation now where they're looting, where, it's basically like chaos, they shutting down freeways, stuff like that. For the individuals who actually go to work and are productive, now you are being affected by it. But then not only that, you got to understand, these are opportunities to where when they start creating all this chaos and stuff, the businesses, remember, everybody is so mad at, people who get money, wealthy people, rich people, stuff like that. When they destroy these business owners' businesses, one, the companies, they should have insurance, point blank, period. They have insurance and they're gonna get a payout because their buildings are burning, stuff like that. When they get that payout, what do you think that those businesses are going to do? You think those businesses are going to come back? No, they're going to go set up shop somewhere else. Now, I don't know if y'all know, but 70% of the workforce in the US is from small businesses. A small business is anywhere between, I think it's 5 to 500 employees. And about 70% of the country is small business. So if all of those businesses leave that area and set up shop somewhere else, what do you think is going to happen to that area? Because while, people like to say, oh, it's the people and this and all this shit, right? Money is what makes this all go round. I don't care what nobody says. Money is what makes it go. Resources. If you ain't got no resources, you're not like you can't do anything. Who's going to make the tissue for you? Who's going to, provide transportation? Who's going to provide produce? Y'all not growing your own stuff. Y'all don't know how to make tissue. Y'all not raising sheep and going through the whole processes of creating stuff. Y'all not doing that. So while everybody wants to be, oh, it's the people, it's the people. It's like, okay, I understand that, but then look at like 30,000 foot view. Look at the way everything works. Majority of the people are out here bitching and complaining and not being productive and producing anything, and they're just consuming everything. Bad behaviors, bad habits, and then you got stupid shit like this happening. And who you think is going to affect? The rich people are going to sit back, let everything ride. Values of property values, vacant lots, all of that is going to shoot down. Guess who's going to come in and take all that shit up once it goes all the way down? Y'all do know that, some of these protesters are out there. They're paid to go out there and do this type of stuff, right? Because I want y'all to think about it. If I'm wealthy, right? And we all know California is expensive shit. If I want property, because I know real estate goes in cycles, this is a perfect opportunity. It's a perfect setup play to where destroy that area so I can now deploy my resources once it's all, the dust is settled. Property values that went down 90%, 95%. Let me go in there, buy up all this shit. And then when the prices increase, I can sell it, I can rent it, I can do whatever. And then I can come up. How do I know this? because my own city went through this shit. Detroit went through this shit. It went through it. Detroit is the largest city in history to go bankrupt. Where do you think it stemmed from? All the way back to the 1960 riots. 1960s riots. I think it was 67, if I'm not mistaken. That riot destroyed the entire large parts of the city. And the city is just now fully recovering from it. What, almost, what's 60 something years later? We talking like properties that was once, 200,000. Matter of fact, if anybody know Boston Edison District, think about that. Think about the Linwood area. All them houses, brick houses, huge, fucked. And people are coming in, buying them for little to nothing, turning around, slapping them boys $250,000, $300,000, $400,000 houses now. Y'all got to see the play, man. Let's finish this.
From now to Army soldiers here stationed at Fort Bragg in North Carolina. Earlier today, he defended his military deployment to Los Angeles and said he would invoke the Insurrection Act if he thinks there's reason to, adding, quote, "We will see."
If we didn't get involved, right now, Los Angeles would be burning, just like it was burning a number of months ago with all the houses that were lost. Los Angeles right now would be on fire. And we have it in great shape. We're not playing around.
Los Angeles Democratic Mayor Karen Bass today slamming the president's actions in response to the protests.
We are 12 months away from the World Cup. We need the administration to help us prepare. They are talking about spending over $100 million with this deployment, which is why I say that I feel like we've all been in Los Angeles a part of a grand experiment to see what happens when the federal government decides they want to roll up on a state or roll up on a city and take over.
Listen, this is the mayor, right? It's so crazy to hear, like, when you hear people that's supposed to be on the same team where they clash. And I'm always interested to hear, more than one side. Always interested. But at the same time, it's like when you hear what's going on with the governor, then you hear what's going on with her, their points, it just doesn't make sense because, as she said, the Olympics is coming. How are they trying to roll up and take over? Like, y'all are there for a reason. Who wants to take over for you? Like, and then how? How are they taking over? Y'all are housing illegal aliens. What the fuck are we talking about? They're illegal, bro. He wants them out. They're citizens that want them out. Did y'all know that they fucked up the Kobe and Gigi mural? And then they got it fixed and then they fucked it up again? Do you know how many people was pissed about that? But that's what they out there doing. I'm sorry, but what this lady is talking about, I wholeheartedly disagree. Wholeheartedly disagree.
I want to bring in ABC News' Melissa Adon. She's in Los Angeles. She's on the ground for us to tell us what it's really like. So give us the breakdown here of the situation, what you're seeing today.
Yes, Kana. So about here, I want to say about 100 people, lots of members of the media and the California National Guard members that we're seeing up here. These are the several dozens that are out here on this backside of the federal courthouse building. They're also stationed again onto the front side of this building. This is the same building that has also been defaced with graffiti. And you can see the crowd of protesters on that side. We have an American flag. We have Mexican flags. I saw someone with a sign about Chile, about Paraguay. We also earlier here had a group that was discussing essentially an interfaith group that said they wanted just to gather peacefully. They were actually giving out little flowers and sharing some prayers. They then made the mention and shared how later tonight there's going to be a larger interfaith prayer vigil that's going to be happening in Grant Park. That's several blocks over here from the federal courthouse and from the Hall of Justice. And in that area, that's actually where Mayor Karen Bass says she plans to attend. So that's something that's really curious. Of course, this is now the afternoon. This is the largest groups that we've seen here for today for this 5th day of protest, Kana.
Well, Melissa, we both know, right? An interfaith prayer with the mayor attending, that would certainly be a different scene in the night.
Did y'all see all that graffiti? Did y'all see that graffiti that was on that wall? I just remember, okay, granted, some people may be trying to do a peaceful protest, but bro, that is not what's been going on. I know they saying that right now, but no, this has not been peaceful, yo. Let's see what Gavin Newsom is talking about. Because they actually did
I'm inside the Emergency Operations Center run by the County of Los Angeles here with Governor Gavin Newsom. Governor, thanks for joining us live on MSNBC.
Good to be with you.
So this is, as I said, the Emergency Operations Center. I wonder how you would characterize the events that are unfolding in Los Angeles right now. Is it an emergency? Is it, Fox News is calling it the L.A. riots? Is it a peaceful protest? What's happening? What are you seeing?
Well, I mean, look, Donald Trump has created the conditions you see on your TV tonight. He's exacerbated the conditions. He's, lit the proverbial match. He's putting fuel on this fire ever since he announced he was taking over the National Guard in a legal act.
Listen, first off, I just want to know what his angle is and why he's doing what he's doing. That's what I really want to know, because he's saying Trump is lighting fuel to this fire. My question is, okay, so at what point? First off, let's be 100. California is already in a financial deficit, a fiscal deficit, right? I think they like losing a billion a year or something like that, right? And their police force is not even hitting how it used to be, because one, remember the whole defund police and all that type of stuff. It's what's crazy is it always seemed like California is always the experiment for a lot of things. Marijuana industry really pumped in Cali, the alphabet community pumped in Cali, like all that stuff starts in Cali and it's like it migrates out. So it's like the legal alien situation is like, what is that like ground zero? And then like if it rolls there, it migrates out. It's like, no, a lot of stuff that they got going on. It's like California is really like its own country. That's kind of how I look at Cali sometimes, because it's stuff like they got their own set of like rules, regulations, laws. I'm talking about like even with firearms. Like when you purchase a firearm, I always say like an exception is for California and like I think New York or something like that, but specifically Cali. But it's just real interesting. Like, what is his angle? Like, why does he want these people to do what they're doing? And then y'all want to know what's crazy? He has the nerve to sue the president because the president brought the National Guard into California, Los Angeles to maintain order. It's not like you mad at him. You can't be mad at him because he got, Homeland Security and everything doing their job at deporting all of them. How can you be mad at that? He told you he was going to fucking do it. I swear, it's kind of like a female. It's like this. It's like he's acting like a female getting mad because a man told him exactly what was about to happen. And it's like, oh, well, my feelings, I don't feel like this is okay. And then they just mad. Like, come on, bro.
A moral act, an unconstitutional act, and we're going to test that theory with a lawsuit tomorrow.
Well, I was going to ask you that. Sorry to interrupt.
Unconstitutional. Illegal aliens is in the goddamn country, and you talking about fucking it's not constitutional. Where in the Constitution does it say we can let motherfuckers come over here and we can't do shit about it? A lot of times I'm really starting to think motherfuckers like our policies and stuff is soft as hell when it comes to other people and places and stuff. Because like, how can you come over here and just automatically think you got rights in our shit? They out there flying Mexican flags and like they home country, and it's like I ain't mad at it. Go the fuck home then. How you gonna come? This ain't your home. How you gonna, if you want to be here? And on top of that, they got an app to where they can deport themselves and they get paid to deport themselves. But y'all want to stay here and keep causing problems. Okay.
But Governor, so that's news. If you're going to sue the administration, tell me a little bit about it. Give us a preview of this lawsuit.
Well, under his executive order, it specifically notes, and under what the DOD did, is they had to coordinate with the governor of the state. They never coordinate with the governor of the state. I've worked with the National Guard. We've deployed the National Guard. We did 3,000+ folks have been doing logistics work and fire recovery work, and they're fighting the fires, the rattlesnake teams. We did the same back in George Floyd. We have no problem working collaboratively in a mutual aid system with local law enforcement, but there's a protocol, there's a process. He didn't care about that. And the worst part, he completely lied. He said in a tweet that everything's now safe, everything's fine. Is that the case, Mr. Trump? He said because he deployed the National Guard. The Guard hadn't even been deployed when he said this. It's Orwellian. Simply lying to people. Unconstitutional, illegal act. His mess. We're trying to clean it up.
You're saying that the President of the United States has made the situation on the ground here in Los Angeles less safe. What do you know about immigration enforcement today? Has there been any ICE raids in the city today? Are they coordinating with you on that? Are they giving you a heads up?
Of course they're not coordinating. That said, we were told in just a recent briefing just a few minutes ago there was small activity in the county and not in the city proper. But look, you made a point a moment ago. These images are unacceptable. These kids on the car, The folks that are taking advantage of this, these aren't peaceful protesters. A lot of these folks, a lot of great people out there doing the right thing. But you get these insurgent groups coming in, sort of these anarchists that are in there to create real problems. And they're just playing right into Donald Trump's hand. And they need to be called out. They need to be arrested. It is wrong to destroy other people's property. And it is wrong to create the conditions that only exacerbate this. But Donald Trump, at the end of the day, is the sponsor of these conditions.
Let me give you the opportunity.
Man, listen, that's some bullshit. Like, come on now. We gotta call bullshit when we see it, okay? I would advise for y'all to go ahead and finish watching the rest of this, but that's bullshit. Because if you clearly said that these people are using this as an opportunity to come out here and create chaos, why the fuck wouldn't you want your forces to be on the ground to handle these people when they come? Because the people that's peacefully protesting, okay, cool. You got the what is it, the right to assemble and some shit like that. And you already know they always come up with some little things where you gotta get a license to do it or a permit or some shit like that, right? But the people that's peacefully protesting, they can literally be in a line of fire with the ones that's creating chaos. So why wouldn't you want it to be order within your state, within the city, within the county? Why wouldn't you want there to be order? Everybody, it's like they keep trying to go at Trump because they simply just don't like him. And it's like, okay, whatever. If that's how y'all want to rock, cool. But here's where I get really confused. Why is it that the politicians, they try to have these clashes with each other instead of figuring out a way to work with each other for the betterment of the people and for the betterment of our country? Listen, and this is something that typically stays within my head, right? But I honestly believe a lot of times you need violence. You need violence amongst politicians because it's like sometimes people just need to get their ass whooped to get them in line. Now I know some people may say, "Oh, that's chaotic. That's barbaric. We're a civilized nation. We're a civilized people." No, a lot of y'all is just bitches. Because when you know that there's that threat of violence, you kind of get in line because you know you don't want them problems and you know you don't want no smoke. Am I advocating for that? No, because we can have conversations and we can resolve conflict like adults. But in some cases, it's kind of like, nah, you kind of need a little bit of violence because you don't want to get your shit together. But overall, they are supposed to be doing stuff for the betterment of productive people within our society. I understand it's all about the people, but listen, for the individuals that are not being productive, that are not adding, that are not, adding to the taxes and just to make this thing go around, they just creating problems and chaos. Those are the people that we kind of need to deal with. Like where tell me where I'm wrong at. I understand, people want to be in their emotions. I get it. I get it. But all of this bullshit that's going on out in Cali, bro, y'all are freaking crazy. It's crazy that y'all are really letting this shit go on. And it has to stop. And now at the fact that those 700 Marines are out there, oh boy. Listen, we definitely gonna stay on top of it. I'm definitely gonna, bring some more information once I get some news update because I really want to see what happens now that these Marines are there. I want to see if they keep that same energy with burning shit up and all like that because the Marines are nothing to play with, man, at all. Let me know what y'all think in the comments. Make sure you like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and I'm gonna get at y'all with the next one. Peace.